They didn't notice the marriage falling apart first. They noticed her. How thin she was getting. How withdrawn. How she stopped coming downstairs. Not her label. Not the industry. Not the people paid to protect the image. It was school mums, women waiting outside classrooms, who saw that something was wrong. That's the part that changes this story. Because when strangers can see how sad you are before your partner does, the downfall didn't happen suddenly. It happened in silence. On paper, the marriage was short. Barely a few years. Easy to label, easy to dismiss. But short marriages don't usually leave long shadows. This one did. What Lily hints at isn't a single disloyalty or one explosive moment. It's a pattern, alleged betrayals that didn't just break trust, but slowly eroded her sense of safety inside the relationship. Not chaos. Attrition. And all of it unfolded while the relationship still looked undamaged from the outside. Public appearances. A recognizable Hollywood pairing. The illusion of stability doing most of the work. Inside, she was becoming increasingly isolated. Emotionally alone while technically married. Living with someone, yet disappearing in plain sight. The body noticed before the headlines ever did. Weight loss. Withdrawal. Exhaustion. The kind of physical decline that doesn't come from heartbreak alone, but from sustained stress that has nowhere to go. By the time the marriage officially collapsed, the damage had already been done, silently, and for a long time. What's striking is who stepped in, and who didn't. Not managers. Not publicists. Not the industry voices that usually rush in when a brand is wobbling. There was no safety net there. Just silence. Instead, it was school mums. Women she met through play dates and pickups. People with no investment in her career, no loyalty to the image, and no reason to look away. They saw her hiding upstairs while their kids played. Saw her not coming down. Knew she was in her bedroom crying. That kind of visibility is silently humiliating. Not tabloid humiliation, something smaller and sharper. The loss of celebrity distance. The moment when status doesn't protect you from being seen at your weakest. And in that space, empathy replaced privilege. Not because they were fans. Because they were witnesses. It's a reminder that when a public life collapses, it's often the most ordinary rooms that hold the truth. When West End Girl appeared without warning, it was immediately framed as a comeback. That label misses the point. This wasn't a return. It was a record of events. Lily herself calls it angry, not self-aware. And that's important, because anger here isn't immaturity, it's triage. The kind of emotional response that shows up when reflection isn't possible yet, because survival comes first. The rage isn't inward. It's aimed outward, at the circumstances and the people who left her carrying the weight alone. That direction matters. It tells you where the damage came from. And that 8-year gap in her career? It's often treated as a pause she chose. But listening to this album, it sounds more like erasure. Creativity sidelined. Voice muted. A slow disappearance that happened while life was being managed for everyone else's comfort. West End Girl doesn't ask for understanding. It submits evidence. The conversation shifts when open relationships enter the picture. Not as a philosophy. As a shock. Lily is clear. This wasn't a lifestyle she understood or had experience with before the marriage. The idea didn't arrive through mutual curiosity. It arrived through confusion, already in motion. And that's where the imbalance shows. An experience gap. A cultural gap. A location shift from London to New York, where the rules suddenly felt different. When she recalls her friends saying, "Oh, I didn't know straight people were doing this," and her answering, "Neither did I," it lands like a line you can't walk back. That's the moment consent stops being clean. Because openness only works when both people arrive there together. When one partner is catching up while the other is already ahead, it stops being freedom and starts feeling like pressure. The implication is uncomfortable but clear. Without alignment, openness doesn't release. It coerces. The move to New York is often framed as romantic. Lily frames it differently, as a decision made for her children. She wanted stability, routine, a sense of normality after years of disturbance. And on the surface, that's exactly what the relocation promised. A home, a family unit, a fresh start. But creatively, something else was happening. Fulfillment wasn't postponed with a plan to return to it later. It was late, then quietly abandoned. The balance never came. Motherhood expanded. Identity shrank. And then there's the lyric, the townhouse reduced to a crude nickname on the album. Not for shock value, but symbolism. A space that was meant to be home reframed as somewhere she felt diminished, sidelined, and disrespected. That's the humiliation she's pointing to. Not sexual. Structural. A life updated around sacrifice, only to discover that the cost was her sense of self, paid daily, and largely unnoticed by the people who benefited from it most. Once the album landed, something else followed, an unexpected flood of messages from women who saw themselves in it. Not vague sympathy. Graphic confessions. Intimate details sent to a stranger because the story felt familiar enough to trust. That volume matters. It shifts this from celebrity fallout to cultural pattern. These weren't reacting to Lily Allen. They were reacting to recognition. What she became, unintentionally, was a proxy. The place where anger, humiliation, and betrayal could be deposited safely, without judgment. Music doing the work therapy often can't reach. And she doesn't pretend that role is noble or cleansing. She admits the tension. It feeds the ego while corroding the soul. Validation paired with emotional exhaustion. There's no clean resolution there. Just the reality that when personal pain goes public, it stops belonging to one person and starts carrying the weight of many. In the end, Lily doesn't reject the rage. She reframes it. Not as bitterness. Not as failure. But as a necessary force. The thing that kept her alert when silence was doing the real damage. Repressed anger nearly broke her. Expressed anger gave her shape again. Sobriety matters here. So does age. This version of Lily understands what the earlier one couldn't. That being loud isn't the same as being heard, and limitation doesn't always mean strength. That's why this was never just a marriage story. It was a visibility test. Who noticed? Who looked away? Who benefited from her disappearance? And who finally believed her when she spoke? Because once pain is turned into public truth, it doesn't dissolve with time. It hardens. And it can't be taken back.